we have serious situation across the country. So the only option left is for us to borrow responsibly, utilize prudently and economically, that Nigerian economy will benefit from the implementation of such infrastructure development.
All right, Senate President there, in the last hour or the hour before when we were talking about that during the headlines, a lot of you were very displeased. Some people actually believe that, well, some people said politicians are taking us for a ride, and this has just gone too far. I have with me on the phone Public Affairs Analyst Dr. Nsikak Ntia, and we will talk about this, Nigeria's debt profile, the economic state of the Nigerian, because the country borrowing, does it impact on us in any way? And of course, is Nigeria really poor? Good morning, Dr. Ntia. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me, Enoh.
All right, so I will start with the first question. Following the statement made by the Senate President, Ahmed Lawan, he says Nigeria is poor. So, Dr. Ntia, is Nigeria poor?
Yes, we are. We're penurious. And just to give a bit of context to that answer, we are poor because of two main ways. While we appear to be a large country with a large economy and a significant potential to be absolutely self-sufficient and great, over the years we've absolutely misused this opportunity and this basic platform or structure or foundation for growth and greatness, to the point where our GDP per capita is absolutely down in the gutter. And then our human capital index, which is a measure of productivity of persons in the country, we are 152 out of 147 countries by the World Bank Index. And that's ridiculous. That's poverty, deep-seated poverty. And then the number of Nigerians below the poverty line, it just continues to swell. And these numbers, I still believe, are underestimated. So we are poor. We are poor.
Okay. He said that we don't have the revenue, to take care of some of the needs that we have. Why is that so?
Well, I mean, carelessness at the very highest levels of governance over time, over decades. But it has even more so in this government. It is a shame that we continue to spouse this sort of thing. So we don't have the revenues because we have misused the revenues. I remember I was on your show a few weeks ago or so, and I was talking about the fact that when you use oil, hydrocarbons, which is our mainstay, and you use it to do things like pay salaries or run the government and do things which we refer to as operating expenditure, it is almost the same thing as selling your father's house to buy food. Oil is not renewable. When you take it out of the ground, it takes hundreds of years to form again. So you are depleting a non-renewable resource. You are not putting it into growth. You are putting it into consumption. We have one of the highest consumption indices in the world. So that is the kind of degree of poverty I am referring to. That's the numbers, naira and dollar figures. It's that we are truly poor in terms of how unproductive as a group that we are.
The Senate President also says this is the only option open to us as a nation. Would you agree with that?
That's a blatant lie. That's a blatant lie. You see, I think sneaking us into this very tight window, it's almost criminal. It's almost criminal at that level of leadership. And what I mean by that is, typically countries run on a few different ways. The oil economies that have been successful in the world, there's something common to all of them. They don't put the oil money into everyday running of countries. What they typically do is use the money to generate a productive economy. I keep going back to when Gowon referred to Nigeria being not knowing what to do with the money. It was a genuine dilemma, and we laughed at it. That was the moment we lost the trajectory. Because what you do, people like in the first one, I don't want to compare Nigeria to first world countries, but we have similar trajectories, just different in time. You take this money, if it's an escrow, if it's an investment account, the principle behind that money that comes from the ground that's not renewable is I use it to do things that generate money that can now make us run the country. For example, we have crude reserves, which are going down, by the way. Second thing, is becoming old-fashioned. Energy, hydrocarbon as energy is becoming old-fashioned. We're not even putting ourselves in the game for the next energy transition. We're not even in that game. We are depleting old-school resources and not turning it into anything that would put us in the game in the next world. And it doesn't give you warning when it changes. So that's the thing. When I talk about options to the government, the option is not to borrow more. There's very flawed thinking that they are using currently to say you borrow to feed infrastructure and that feeds the economy. That is if you are efficient. So if you have a stagnation in the economy and you borrow and channel that into maybe infrastructure, which is a way of transferring money to people in the country, so you build stuff, award major projects and all of that. There's employment, there's people, economy begins to move, the economy begins to turn locally, the purchasing power parity for individuals in the country begins to grow, then you have something to talk about. But that's not what's happening. There's the issue about misuse of the resources, number one. There's the issue around corruption, which doesn't make enough of it get to that. There's the issue around huge inefficiencies in our system of running. It cannot be the way. What Nigerian government, this government that we're talking about today, I mean, before this government, there are three main ways Nigeria raised money: treasury bills, bonds, and then by doing partnerships and all that. What this country has done is brought in extra ways to raise this money, and our multilateral borrowing and all of that has gone through the roof. What we should be doing, the alternatives, and I will say this clearly anywhere in the world, is you look at your system. Our debt-to-revenue ratio is ridiculously skewed in favor of debt. So everything that comes in goes to service the debt because you're taking too much. And you're not spreading this money you take effectively. What we should be doing for infrastructure in Nigeria is do more public-private partnerships. If I want to build a major thing in Nigeria, concession it. If you everything, outsource for more efficiency, outsource to reduce the burden on government, reduce the burden of the central government. If I need to do things, do PPP or do build-to-pay transfer things, all of that. If I want to do a major road, for example, let's say Nigeria, for example, get a group to come in, finance it, build it, lock in the agreement. They can run it for a bit. And I'm not against toll gating the road as a sensible rate and transparency in how that flow happens. If you want to do something like factories in Nigeria or industry in Nigeria, get it in. Do what other countries have done. You can even do oil for infrastructure direct. So it gets away that issue of you get the oil, you sell it, you go there, then you borrow money, come back. It's ridiculous. There are many examples around Africa and around the third world that people have used to get themselves out of that, really, really dire sort of state into something a bit more productive. The key thing is that these things are supposed to drive the internal economy, drive growth, drive infrastructure provision, as well as drive employment. The way they're borrowing currently doesn't do that. The FG Sukuk bond, which is one of the new ways of borrowing and all that, maybe some rules are being built and all of that, but I don't see enough transparency.
All right.
And then what about go on. Yeah, sorry, back to you. Sorry, I've gone ahead of myself.
So there's that matter of the president being the head of the petroleum ministry on one hand, and on the other hand, they talk about diversifying, to have governments coming and they tout the word diversifying, and after 2 minutes we're back to sharing formula from the Federation account.
It's a joke. It's a joke. This diversification story, it's a scam that's been run for way too long. Because are we truly diversifying? To truly diversify, you need to make 37 economies out of Nigeria. To truly diversify, you need to generate internal growth from every single federating unit in the country. We're nowhere near. We are a unitary state. There's no conversation. Nobody should fool himself that we're a federation. We're a unitary state. So everything is absolutely central. There's too much power and too much leverage at the center. That's number one. Number two, to diversify, you need to allow people go and enable them raise things through other means and raise revenue. And if you give them slush funds every month from the central one they don't have to work for, what's the incentive to go chase the other? Thirdly, our tax system. We have a horrible our tax It's ridiculously low. The bulk of Nigerians don't pay tax. There's an argument about the government isn't doing anything for the people anyway, but that's not how any country runs. You know, there's no fiscal structure that should garner that. Too many Nigerians do too many things, earn money in this country, and don't pay a single kobo or next to nothing as tax. That's not something that's sustainable. And it's just so many things are wrong on the most fundamental level. I frankly worry how much worse things have to get before they get better.
Well, if the country is not collecting its tax, is not on the citizens. I mean, the government says pay tax, then the government doesn't come to collect it and doesn't provide a system that makes it possible to track defaulters. Then, you know, some people are not sure about how all of this impacts on them. The ordinary Nigerian, the country is borrowing, the governors are borrowing, everyone seems to be borrowing, and they tell you they need it for critical infrastructure. How does this impact on the everyday Nigerian?
Horribly, because we're not seeing that immediate transference to critical infrastructure. What do we mean by critical infrastructure? What do we mean by that? Our roads are still deplorable. We have 7 God bases. Our power station is in the gutter. We're charging unprecedented levels for power, and we're still not getting power. Nigeria probably has the most expensive power in the world, or nearly top 5 in the world currently. More expensive than the US, more expensive than England. I hope you know that. Our current tariffs for power. Now let me come back to how it impacts an ordinary human. It doesn't impact them positively. You're impoverishing us. We're being impoverished every day. Every day they are forced to print more money to cope. Every day they are forced to devalue the naira to rebalance the economy. Any $5 shift, $10 shift in the valuation of the naira sends about 3-5 million naira further into poverty, because what you have in naira automatically takes a dip in value. And what we've seen even in this past year and all of that with the what they call the coronavirus economics, has been significant dips in the value of the naira. So they were trading naira something near 500 naira from 3-something. So that's already like nearly half value eroded, which means if you had 1,000 naira 2 years ago, it's worth about 500 naira today. That's impoverishing. And it's sad. And so therefore, why do you blame capital flight from the country? People are taking all their money out of business in dollars. That's one way of impoverishing the people. If I come back to the loans that they're taking all of that, think about loans for critical infrastructure. If it's not about taking the loan for infrastructure, that's not how it works, or triggers the economy. The ordinary Nigerian, it should be going to things that yield capital. You see, even our fiscal responsibility act that we have in this country, that's law in this country, it demands, frankly, that the provision of that it should only be for capital projects and human development. I'm sorry, I'm not sure I'm seeing that. I'm hearing projects that have been voted in budget year over year on year on year, still being the ones you're borrowing to finance. How is that possible? You borrow to finance one major Abuja Kaduna road that's been in the budget for 10 years. Second Niger bill has been in the budget forever. What are we doing? What are we saying? Who's lying to who? And we're borrowing. Like, we have never look. We're owing 10 billion in 2015 dollars in 2015. We're owing nearly 30 billion today. There's a nearly 200% or thereabout increase in our external debt today. I don't want to go into local debt. And one of the ways we impoverish people locally is to borrow too much locally. You should allow the local pay debt, local debt. If you're owning local contractors, pay them to stimulate the economy. If you have things that are going on locally, free the local debt system to allow for individual MSMEs to be able to get financing at good rates and all of that, and continue to make the economy take over at that MSME level. The roadmap out of this deep poverty we slipped into is about the MSMEs taking hold and the economy. And it's not working as smoothly as people like to think, or as their numbers say. It's horrible. It's ridiculous. Every day Nigerians are slipping further and further below the poverty line, either because the price of things have risen or because the actual value of the money they have has dropped. Each way you put it, we're being absolutely screwed.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Ntia, for your time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, a commercial, and we keep talking. We are Nigerian football hacker. He said basically that the Nigerian will be impacted gravely because everything eventually would impoverish us more. He also says he doesn't believe that borrowing is the only option. And he says, yes, Nigeria is very, very, very poor. I was speaking to Dr. Nsikak, Ntia, public affairs analyst. A commercial, and we keep talking when I join for Port Harcourt. Stay tuned.
The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The coverage is global, and the cast nationwide, covering every blade of grass on Nigeria's #1 radio station for sports and talk, Nigeria Info. Reach out for sponsorship and advertising. Euro 2020 with Femi and the gang on Nigeria Info. Live football, just the way you like it. The European club football season is over, but football never sleeps. Enter the UEFA European Football Championship. The pandemic could only delay, but never deny the fans the excitement they crave as the Euros take center stage. It's Euro 2020 in 2021, with scenes all over the European continent, traversing state lines and capitals, from Rome to Baku, St. Petersburg, Amsterdam, Bucharest, Glasgow, Copenhagen, Seville, Munich, and London. The
25 minutes before 9 o'clock, we're Nigerian for Port Harcourt. Means we've got just 20 minutes to talk about this. But Senate President Ahmed Lawan has said that Nigeria is poor, and this is how he said it.
We will not be frivolous, and we will not take it lightly to just approve any loan. And our options are really very limited as a country. Nigeria is poor. We shouldn't deceive ourselves. Nigeria is not rich. Given the circumstances we live in, given the challenges we have, our resources are so low, our revenues are so low. You cannot, in my view and judgment, tax Nigerians further for you to raise the money for infrastructure development. Other countries do that, but the only option left is for us to borrow.
That's the only option, and my guest, Dr. Nsikak Ntia, disagrees with the Senate President. You can join the conversation, 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0009. On Facebook, we have some comments there. We're on Facebook at Nigerian for PH. Dangoda Twigbo said, constant borrowing leads to shame. Borrowing for infrastructure is like borrowing to feed your family. The ones they borrow have made no significant impact on Nigerians. They want to borrow another one to mortgage the future. It's very unfortunate that this APC government has run out of ideas and our economy has collapsed under their watch. Okbekzi Charles, can you imagine we have this kind of situation at hand and our #1 citizen is traveling to another man's country? I want to ask, what's the way forward, Nigeria? We're Nigerian folk. Good morning. Hello?
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
It is of Amodili Road. Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
As Senate President, I don't know how to rate him. They should cut their salary. I don't know how much their salary. They should cut their salary to 1 million or 500,000 a month. They should cut most of the things that they are spending money for. You cannot just come and tell us that Nigeria is poor and you are taking huge amount of money. Any sitting you are sitting, they are giving you a huge amount of money, and the citizens are suffering.
Well,
they should just cut their salary to the parastatal. They merge them together. You understand? So let us know where we are going to. Because now, Nigeria is poor, but Senate President is not poor. The senators are not poor. They are taking there is no day that they will not have allowance.
You see, Biso, you're not there. You may not understand that for them, this is their poverty level too. The money is not enough. So you're here saying it's too much, but the ones collecting it, are they complaining?
It's not enough for them.
Yes, and maybe.
We the taxpayers who should manage them. Or they should go on part-time. And there is a way they will do this thing. You understand? Everything will balance. Look at the senators. If they want to make sitting, some of them that cannot even raise hand, they will come. You have to put their name there to take their allowance. Go to some parasata. Merge two of them together because what they are doing now almost the same. You merge two of them together. Let it be of one parasata. So you see that some of the excesses they are cutting it down. Don't come and tell us that Nigeria is poor and your pocket is bush.
All right. Like I said, you're not the one who's collecting the money, so perhaps you've got it all wrong. Jetty Kenat Chuku says, we joke too much in Nigeria. For being at Ouaga, he says, until Nigerians stop singing the praise of their statesmen and start challenging these useless policies, things will keep getting worse. And again, he says, we lack administrative intellectuality in Nigeria. The art of effective public administration is missing in Nigeria. I doubt if Nigeria go better. Nepotism, religious hypocrisy, tribalism has hoodwinked our future. But these things don't stand alone. They're perpetuated by people. So, 0817-923-0002. Raphael Unibisi says, which poor? The masses are suffering. No work, no electricity, no security, nothing. And they go abroad with public funds, build hotels and send their children to study abroad. While we're here gnashing teeth day by day. Let's see. Borrowing, is Nigeria poor? Where is that? But our senators still earn huge amounts of money. My people, if the salary of our senators can be divided into two and we manage our resources well and our leaders put the masses' interests first as their priority, things will be better. But isn't that why there's government in the first place? James in Rumukurusi, good morning.
Hello?
Morning,
Hello.
James.
Good morning, my sister. Nigeria is very poor. Nigeria is not poor. Lawan told us that whatever Buhari brings to the table, they will approve it. So very soon, they will borrow Nigeria out. We will live in another person's expense, Nigeria, very soon. Borrowing was, how will the senators allow us? Wardrobe papers and other things that we cannot mention. And the hidden ones that are hiding under funding of the budget. And they say we are poor. We are waiting for them, no problem.
All right. You waited for them the last time you voted them into power again. You're waiting for what exactly? Ernest is in room. Good morning,
good
Ernest.
Morning.
Yeah, let's hear you.
Okay. I think what I want to say is that I think it's how would I put it? I disagree with them. These are what they use in deceiving us, that Nigeria is poor. Poor in the sense like what? Like now, for instance, I work in a firm, we have whites. The whites, they don't collect their salary here. Do you know what they do? They pay their money into their currency and they collect their upkeep here just to keep themselves. And that grows their economy. Because when you pay money to that country, by the number, it increases their income there. Do you know how many Nigerians work outside that their money are not paid by Naira? If the government has sense, they organize their people and they are sincere with how they spend our money. Do you know how much we'll be making? Let them put a ban. For instance, and let them make a decree that no government official should send their children abroad for schooling. Let everybody school here. Let everybody have their medical here. I quote you, sister, in less than 6 months, Nigeria will change. Do you know how much you spend for medical outside? How much you spend for education outside? Only Ghana alone.
Niger,
so these are our problem.
Benin Republic.
So, okay.
Yeah,
you can imagine it.
Yeah, we have.
So these are the things. We refuse to put this in place. We will continue to remain like that. They continue to tell us lie that we are poor. We are poor. We are poor. How much are they taking home?
All right. Thank you. Ernest, let's talk to Clement on Ntia Road. Good morning, Clement.
Good morning. Nigeria is poor, according to federal government. For me, this is one of the best news so far. If only the government know what they are doing, but it's unfortunate. Recently I have been kind of thinking, don't you think we need to go back to the military regime? Because things seems to be better, because at that time I know, I'm aware, and I've grown 1999. I know very well what it seems like, and the difference between then and now, infrastructure-wise, governance-wise, and everything that has to do with development. Democracy is calm to us in Africa. So if you ask me, somebody said if it were good, why did they recommend? And I said, we are not prepared for. We shouldn't even dabble into it.
All right.
And that's the mess we found ourselves today.
Thank you. Samuel is calling from Ada George. Good morning, Samuel.
Yes, good morning. I want to totally disagree with the Senate President. We are not poor. Nigeria is not poor. they are the one that is poor. I mean, it is the leaders of this country who are poor in mentality. They have refused to industrialize Nigeria. They have refused to do the needful. They have refused to create an enabling environment for Nigeria to retain and maintain what they have. So it's quite unfortunate that Ahmed Lawan will say the only option Nigerians have is to borrow. And that's not correct.
All right.
So I want to appeal to them to please, have a rethink and ensure that Nigeria is being industrialized so that people can go to work. People can work and earn money. Imagine the National Assembly leaking water everywhere and all of that. So these are the issues we are talking about. Poor management. So I disagree with my sister. Thank you.
All right. Utaka from Rumosi, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Hello?
Good morning.
Yeah, please, I want to know of what benefit is this calls that we are making.
You called, so tell me.
Because we call every time, see complain about this country. The same thing is still happening. So now we calling. Why are we wasting our credit calling?
Well,
talking?
You're not wasting your airtime, but if you think so, then it's okay not to call because there are several issues we've talked about on radio and the government has done something about it. So if you're going to call this, whether you agree Nigeria is poor or not, yeah, but this is what you think government can do, but then let's hear your solution, then we can move.
There's no solution in this country, please.
Thank you for calling. On Facebook, we have Samuel Etim saying we all know that Nigeria is poor, but our senators are the most well-paid in the world. What a country. Nigeria is poor, but those ruling the country are richer than the country they're ruling. And tomorrow somebody from somewhere will come out and tell us Nigeria could be. Okay, Dean do. Is a AK Ozioma, Nigeria is poor and will remain poor until capable and honest people run the country, e.g. exporting crude but importing refined products. Something one of the callers said, saying that it seemed as if it was better during the military regime. You know what? So when Nigerians pushed for democracy, they believed that those who had grown under a military regime will do better than the military rulers, right? But here we are now. So what does it say? What does it say? And it's so expensive. You know, our brand is so expensive. My, oh my. We have messages on WhatsApp. I'll read some of them. Nigeria's poor and they're still borrowing money. I love Vivian Ovuru. But you know, poor people usually are necking deep in debt. That's part of the poverty thing. The more you borrow, the more you sorrow. Oh my gosh. Ben said, the Senate president says Nigeria is poor. We all know those politicians who manage Nigeria's economy are super rich. This is absolutely paradoxical. Let's keep borrowing then. Amumu has not even started. When you say they're rich, you want to ask, what is the source of their wealth? Is it their salaries? Is it kickbacks? What exactly is funding their lifestyle, aside the heavy, money they're paid in the form of allowances and salary? But then again, someone said Nigeria is not poor. We just have people who are mentally poor leading us. So how can a mentally poor person lead you into wealth? Why won't we be poor when they're busy looting Nigeria? Let me even ask, how much are they taking home every month? Google will help you, sir. Google is poor. Nigeria is poor, but Senate president is rich. What ABC cannot destroy does not exist. Kingsley Wazo sent that in. The legislators are the people that made the country poorer. Light. This country is a joke. How can the third in command of this country say Nigeria is poor? Nigeria is poor and she's paying 2 chambers of the House of Assembly huge amounts of money and governors driving the most expensive cars for themselves. And the country is poor. It is a simple case of mismanagement and misplacement of priority. What a shame. Tom says, oh well, maybe that's not his name, but he says, for some, it's easier to criticize the government, especially this present government. But come to think of it, if the previous government used the money borrowed very well, do you think some of the projects embarked upon by this government would have been necessary? My take is that all of us in Nigeria have been living a fake life. We've been long at throat for foreign goods, making things very difficult. I think we should all think. During Jonathan's era, money was shared anyhow. No consideration for tomorrow. Okay, that's it. No consideration for tomorrow. All right. Paul says, why won't the country be poor after their looting and embezzling of public funds and revenue allocation? Why won't they borrow? We're back on the line. 0817-923-0002. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Enoh.
Good morning.
My name is David West. I'm calling you from Enigma.
All right.
You flabbergasted that Nigeria is broke?
No, there's difference
if you are
between being broke. No,
please don't be flabbergasted. Why won't Nigeria be broke?
Hello, sir. There's a difference.
Or do a costing of the car the Senate president is using, that SUV is using. When these big politicians have stolen Nigeria's money so much into their own private pockets, the country will broke. They are making so much allowances for themselves every day. They are living very well. Nigeria is only broke for the poor man. The ordinary man, the common man, who cannot even have the basic necessities of life. The simplest thing. For us, Nigeria is broke. But for them, the big men who are stealing this money every day, stealing humongous amount of money. Some money these people steal, 5 of their immediate generation cannot finish it. Yet they are still collecting more. Is it not in this same nation? Naira took 79 billion naira. 79 billion. How many, his immediate family, how many are they in their house? So Nigeria will be broke, but no problem. The time will come when this money they have stolen, even to spend it will be a problem for them. God bless us. Have a nice day.
Being blessed in poverty, right? Emmanuel is calling from Igbelu. Emmanuel, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, my name is Chief Emmanuel. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Okay.
Yeah. If you have a monolithic economy nearly absolutely dependent on oil, what do you expect? Especially against the backdrop of the fact that the oil market is dependent on the international oil market, so to say. People have recommended, please allow true federalism to operate in this country, such that some of the sub-units of the country, by reason of states or regions, can be independent in a way. You refuse. You will continue to go cap in hand at the end of every month to collect money from the federal government. We have not started discussing poverty in this country. Wait till when oil begins to deplete. So we don't need to break our heads. The government knows what to do. Let them adopt the two principles of federalism such that independent states can compete, go back, find out what areas they have some kind of advantage. If they internally generate revenue on their own, we won't have the issue of poverty in this country. This country is highly endowed. Each of the regions, each of the states are deeply endowed naturally. It's for you to harness that.
All right.
In so doing, we will have a robust economy. We will have one of the best economies in the world. But unfortunately, we are sitting on wealth and doing nothing about it. So we'll continue to borrow. I wish all of us luck.
All right, TJ, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, let's hear you.
Yeah, and I think I want to disagree with the Senate president entirely, totally. Nigeria is not poor. The only reason why Nigeria appears to be poor is because the leaders, the politicians, those in authority, are very selfish and very greedy. They are amassing wealth, they are looting our common wealth. The money that belongs to me and you is entering one pocket. Those of them that are in position of authority, what they do is to recycle themselves, recycle old breed of politicians, recycle their children. When they are retired and they put their children in positions, juicy positions, in the oil and gas, in the multinational, and in political space. So the whole money recycles and revolves around them. When they are heads of agencies and parastatals in government. They are what contrast to themselves, their families, their cronies, and their acquaintances. That is the reason why there is so much poverty. It's not as if Nigeria as a nation is poor. The funds that were recovered from Abacha is enough to fund the budget of Nigeria.
All right. Thank you, TJ. That's all we can take this morning. Thank you for your time. Final message from Facebook reads, Nigeria is poor but has the richest pastors and politicians in the world. What a shame. Felix James sent that in. But it's very instructive that in all of those complaints, they're recycling themselves and all that. Elections will come, and the people who have been complaining, who are dying in abject poverty, will still line up and vote for these same politicians. Perhaps that's where the poverty starts. My name is Enoh Enigma. Good morning.